She's a phenomenal athlete, and she'll become the first athlete, male or female, to compete in both events at the same Olympic Games.
This is just spectacular. Watch her coming down here. Really nice tempo turns.
And the flame is lit. The 2026 Arctic Winter Games officially underway. Sunday night, the opening ceremony, a beautiful scene, 2,000 athletes. There was technical officials, volunteers all making their way in, enjoying the cultural performances, the celebration, the history of the games, and with the lighting of the flame, officially the 2026 Arctic Winter Games open here in Yukon. We're honored to host the 2026 Arctic Winter Games here in Whitehorse, traditionally known as the Kwanlin, on the traditional territories of the Kwanlin Dun First Nation and the Ta'an Quachan Council. As we say hello and good evening and welcome to Day 2 officially here in Whitehorse and the 2026 Arctic Winter Games. I'm Darren Dupont. Happy to have you along. And for those of you who joined us last night, Sunday, for the opening ceremonies, thanks for joining us. And what a scene it was. The games officially underway, being able to interact with all the athletes and the volunteers and everybody in the community who's putting on these games. So special. Now here on Day 2, the games officially got underway even further. We had some action on Sunday, and we'll get to some of that a little bit later on, but we had action across all of the venues, on the ski hills, and here in the Cultural Center, where we come to you tonight for our coverage here of the games in the Cultural Center, where we're going to talk about the Dene Games, one of the really cool experiences here of the Arctic Winter Games. Yes, the traditional sports like hockey and curling, basketball, skiing, those are all happening. But what really separates these games and makes it one of the most unique experiences and multi-sport games in the planet is the Dene Games, the Arctic Games. We're going to talk about that coming up tonight. We're going to revisit some of the highlights and take you across the community as our coverage continues here at the Arctic Winter Games. So let's get to some of the action from Day 1 and Day 2 here in Whitehorse. Well, let's start with alpine skiing on the slopes. They're at Mount Sima, 15 minutes from downtown Whitehorse. A beautiful venue. Look at the athletes. They're getting a chance to get out there on the freshly groomed snow. Opened in 1993, and we had some results early on today. Some really fast times. Tough fall, though, early on for one of the athletes. It was Kiana Fairfield of the Yukon, though, that took gold in the U14 alpine skiing event. Anya Louise Beckus from Alaska taking a silver medal. Carol Anderson from Northern Alberta picking up a bronze in the alpine skiing. That venue, a gorgeous one. Again, opened in 1993. Typically has 15 runs and 7 different terrain parks. It's a great venue. Hosted some events in the 2007 Canada Winter Games. Let's go to the triple jump next, and inside the gymnasium. How about these jumps in the female category? Emily King of the Yukon winning gold. 815.9 centimeters. Wow. From the Northwest Territories, Veronica McDonald picking up the silver. And out of Greenland, Petra Amosen from Greenland again picking up the bronze. In the male category of triple jump, it was Braden Matthew Pozlosny from the Yukon, a gold for the home territory. He did really well. Braden McNeil, a silver for Nunavut, and Abia Zeeb from Greenland, a bronze. To basketball. And back on Day 1, there was a bit of a wild sequence when it came to basketball. The Northwest Territories, a crazy buzzer beater to pick up a win over the Yukon. You're looking at some of these highlights. This is back from Day 1. And it was back and forth. The Yukon led, the Northwest Territories led. It was actually Northwest Territories that led for a good chunk of that game early on, against Alberta. You're watching Yukon Northwest Territories. It was Yukon with the 3-point win in that one, 83-80. Later in the day, Alaska got by Nunavut. In the women's side of basketball, Alberta North and Northwest Territories, they did battle. So much action going on. Let's go to the 2-foot high kick. That's what's going on now. In the 2-foot high kick, another gold medal for Yukon. Brie LaBelle picking up the gold medal in the 2-foot high kick in the U17 female category. Caitlin from Tikavik from Nunavut. She picked up the silver medal, and Molly Ann Evans out of Alaska taking home a bronze in the 2-foot high kick. How about on the men's side? Don Heflin from Alaska. Get this, 7 feet 10 inches on the 2-foot high kick. Just outstanding to pick up a gold medal. Inunuak Amosen from Greenland picked up a silver, and Joseph Rogers out of Alaska taking home the bronze, adding to those medal categories. Really, really great stuff in the 2-foot high kick. Part of the Arctic Games. We talk about the traditional games in multi-sport, which you saw basketball. We will see some hockey, curling, but it's the Arctic Games, the Dene Games, that really are outstanding and bring these games together. Let's go to curling next and to the rink. Great coverage here, and I know everybody's loving this coverage. The U18 female curling, big win for Alaska back on Sunday. There was a couple of games on Sunday. Northwest Territories picked up a win over the Yukon, and earlier on today, it was Nunavut over Yukon in a tough one, 7-6, a one-point game. Team Alberta North got by Alaska, putting 13 points on the board. And later this afternoon, it was Alberta North, a win over the Yukon, and the Northwest Territories, a win over Nunavut on the female side of curling. The men were on the curling ice as well, and we'll look at some of those results. As you can see, coverage on both sides. Really great stuff. The curling will continue throughout the week. Medals coming later on in the week in men's curling. As the round robin will continue, pool play will continue on Tuesday. Here's the biathlon and the snowshoe in the 3 kilometers. You can see Sebastian O'Mara picking up a gold medal for Yukon out in the snow. The temperatures got down to minus 20 degrees Celsius early on in the day, warmed up a little bit in the afternoon, but the sun was shining and it was beautiful out in the snowshoe. You see some of those results and the highlights coming through. Really wonderful stuff. Let's go inside the Canada Game Center for some futsal and U18 female futsal. It was Alaska with a 3-0 win over Nunavut earlier on Monday. We had a tie, a 2-2 tie between the Northwest Territories and Yukon. A couple of games getting set in that category tomorrow. On the men's side, U16 men, back on Sunday, this was the very first game that took part in the games before the opening ceremonies. 8 a.m. Sunday morning, and it was the Sápmi team from Scandinavia with a 4-0 win over Alberta North.
If you missed any of the
Nunavut
action,
over
catch all of the games live and on demand. HTN, your source for full games coverage from the 2026 Arctic Winter Games. Go to app.hometeamlive.com or download the HTN app on Roku or Amazon Fire. Again, app.hometeamlive.com for all your coverage of the 2026 Arctic Winter Games live and on demand. Now, what makes these games really unique, yes, the multi-sport is amazing, and the action, the hockey rink has been great, on the curling rink, at the ski hill, but what really separates these games is the indigenous culture that's brought into the games through the Arctic sports and the Dene Games. And imagine this, it's not about being in the gym, it's about the history of the culture. Now imagine this, you are in a canoe and you've just caught a massive salmon. Now it's slippery, it's wet, and it's fighting for its life. You've got to use your sheer hand strength to get that fish into the boat before dinner fights its way off the line and back into the water. From that was born the stick pull, a great battle and test of strength where athletes compete with a 12-inch wooden stick. And it's not just a stick, it's been greased up with oil or grease, and it's a sheer strength of hand strength and the ability to wrestle that stick away from your opponent. It is unlike anything else, and it is what makes the Arctic Winter Games so unique and so special.
Okay, so let's bring in one of the athletes and learn more about this wonderful event, the stick pull. It's Darian Sam from Team Yukon. Congratulations, you won the silver medal earlier in the U18. What was that moment like, winning the medal here at the games?
It was unexpected. I wasn't expecting myself to go that far, especially against that big guy. Oh, had to get up on boards. Oh, he made me run for my money.
I can imagine. Okay, you earned it. Congratulations. Look, I'm an Arctic Games rookie, and I think that's well known. Tell me about the stick pole and what it is.
Stick pole is basically two people. Their feet's lined up, and they got to pull a greased up stick. The grease is mainly like Crisco, and then you both got to pull with. They only move their arm like this in a smooth motion, no jerking your arm, no bending it, and you can't move your body either, not even your head.
Wow. How do you get into the stick pole? How did that become a sport that you got involved in?
A friend told me about Denny Games, and I decided to try it out.
And you liked it right away?
Yeah.
How do you practice for the stick pole? How do you train for this event?
You know those grippers, those hand strengtheners?
Yeah.
I use those, and I also pick up a log with the very tips of my finger and then hold it there for as long as I can. And dead hangs work, and holding heavy things work, and walking around. Yeah.
Unbelievable hand strength. That is really cool. Your first Arctic Winter Games experience, tell me about how it's been so far. We're only on day 2.
It's really good so far. We had a lot of good food, and I wasn't expecting myself to win silver. That was a pretty good experience.
Absolutely. And the opening ceremonies, that's always special. Walking in the ceremony, tell me about that.
It was awesome. The choir was absolutely heavenly, and all the performances were pretty nice. Honestly, I didn't care much for the speeches. They were nice, but it was really cool, especially when they all took off their wristbands and started throwing it in the air.
Really cool. What about the moment walking out in the parade?
Felt proud.
Very cool. And you've been trading pins yet?
Yeah.
Yeah, got a few?
Got a few. It's my first time. I'm not that into pins, but I got 2 sets already.
Unbelievable stuff. Darian, congratulations, and enjoy the rest of the games.
Oh, thank you.
All right, Darian Sam joining us, silver medal winner in the stick pole. Back with more here from the Arctic Winter Games in Whitehorse. Well, at the opening ceremonies last night, among all the great cultural performances, the parade of athletes and the technical officials, the athlete and the official's oath, and the lighting of the flame to get the 2026 Arctic Winter Games officially underway, we also got to hear the official song of the 2026 Arctic Winter Games. It's called All We Are Together. It was written by Yukon's own Diet Van Lieshout, and it was performed by Lenita Alatini alongside youth from the Big Cedar Music Limited. Have a listen now.
The odds are high, I know that game. The struggle's in my bones. Been climbing mountains all my life. I rise, I stand, I grow. We've got fires across the tundra. Ice held for 1,000 years. We are stars in the distance. Electric in the atmosphere. Oh, we are together. We are the brilliant midnight sun. Oh, we shine forever. We are the beating of the drum. When the price is hard to pay and the price so far away, I look behind, I look ahead and trust I know the way. One beginning on the skyline, one flame that breaks
Really phenomenal stuff. That is the anthem of the games. Let's get back to the game. Speaking of the sports, because it is continuous action. This is back inside the Canada Game Center. We're in badminton, and that was some great results on the badminton court. U16 female, I want to say there was 2 Greenland medals there, first and second, leading the table right now at U16, both 3-0, and a couple of Northern Alberta athletes are 2-0. On the men's side, we have Bruno Nathanson's 3-0 from Greenland, and William Gavino out of Alberta. Northern Alberta's 2-0. This is volleyball. It's moving fast. U19 female. Alaska had a tough start at 0-2, but both Nunavut, Alberta, and Yukon 1-0 at the U19 female, and on the male side, Alberta 2-0. Yukon and Nunavut both with wins. Let's get to cross country. Here we go. A gold and a silver for Alaska as they add to their totals in the snow. Again, it was a really sunny day. You had to have the goggles dialed in just right as the sun was peeking through harsh off that snow. Cross country, the U14 female, again, a gold and a silver medal for Alaska in that one. We'll get to hockey here in a second, but again, back out on the snow, they continued. The U14 boys were on the snow as well. Tomorrow on cross country, they'll get into the 1,000 meters. But there was some great finishes and good crowds as well on these runs. To hockey now. And on Sunday, we had some great games started. This is the girls' hockey right now. Nunavut and Alaska, they were tied at 1 in the third. And how about a big go-ahead goal? And Nunavut was able, U19 female hockey, a 6-2 win over Alaska. They ended up with the win. On Sunday was Team Alberta North over Nunavut, 8-5, the final there. And later on Monday afternoon, Yukon, the hosts, picking up a 5-3 win over Team Northwest Territories as we continue in the action. Let's take a look now. You're looking at our moment of the day from day 2 of the 2026 Arctic Winter Games here in Whitehorse. It's the Fiddleheads coming to you from the Canada Games Center where they're playing badminton, hockey, futsal. It's full of action, pin tradings going on, all the rest, but the Fiddleheads, part of a cultural performance. They've been around for many, many years, actually. In a couple of years from now, they're going to be celebrating their 30th anniversary. They started in 1998. They come mainly here from Whitehorse, but there are some from Marsh Lake and Dawson and others across the territory. Some of the Fiddleheads are even competing here in the Arctic Winter Games. They just had a fiddle retreat in Dawson, and they've been part of summits, and they were playing here in Whitehorse. And even Michael J. Fox getting into it, doing a little dancing with some of the volunteers, having fun. Our moment of the day on day 2. Some more of the highlights from day 1 and day 2 here at the Arctic Winter Games. Yeah, hockey was rolling. This was a couple of really intense games. I think that was Sunday. You had Alaska and Yukon were going back and forth. You know, when you bring all these athletes together from the circumpolar north, it is outstanding. And, you know, wrestling was on the mat as well. The fans have been so great. The community's coming together. Sportsmanship. Outstanding stuff. We got one final block coming up here on your Monday night, the Arctic Winter Games. All right, let's slow down and welcome you back inside here as we put a bow on day 1. Well, day 2, actually, our first official full day of competition. And man, there is so much going on right now, as you've seen over the last 30 or so minutes, or just under 30 minutes right now. We have all the sports happening right now. The community is buzzing. And we're going to take a minute just to slow things down and get you set for day 3 and beyond. It has been such a wonderful ride so far. But let's take a look at where the medal standings are right now as we sit at the end of Monday. It's been a really wonderful start for Team Alaska. 25 total medals already as we sit here coming to you now. Yukon, the hosts, they're nipping at the heels right now. 7 gold medals, a wonderful start for Team Yukon. Alaska picking up gold medals in cross country and snowshoeing and biathlon. Some silvers too, a couple of them in biathlon, multiple in the snowshoe. So Alaska with 25 medals. The Yukon, there's 7 gold medals in this first day. They've been won across several sports, including the 2-foot high kick, the triple jump, a couple of triple jump medals in the Arctic sports, 2 biathlon golds, snowshoeing, and table tennis. Team Sapmi's got 3 gold medals. You see them there in 3rd place. The team from Greenland, a couple of gold medals. Nunavut's still looking for their first. So is the Northwest Territories and Nunavik, those athletes from northern Quebec. But there's still lots of competition to come here from the Arctic Winter Games. Look, let's take a look at what's up tomorrow here at the Games, because there is so much happening as the Games continue. We'll see more action on the hill. We'll see a lot of hockey will continue as well. Looking forward to more medals in the Dene Games and the Arctic sports as well. Badminton is going to be really busy. Table tennis gets going tomorrow. Badminton singles, the U15 singles or U16 singles in the men's and the women's. Curling will hit the ice with more pool play. That will be taking place. The snow snake, that happens tomorrow too in the Dene Games. I think we need to pay attention to that. The snow snake will happen. That's at Mount Sema. So, so much action. Be sure to check the schedule on the Arctic Winter Games website. Until then, thank you so much for watching our continuing coverage of the 2026 Arctic Winter Games. We'll be back tomorrow with another recap and more wonderful stories to tell. Until then, I'm Darren DuPont, and good night from Whitehorse.